Good morning, students. Today we'll discuss chapter number 7 according to our curriculum series. It is classes and objects. So in the last year, do you remember we have discussed OOPS concepts? Yes, there are 8 different characteristics we have discussed in the first year. That is, one is a class, object, data abstraction, data encapsulation, polymorphism, data binding, message passing, inheritance. These are the different characteristics we have been discussed. But we have not yet implemented any of the characteristics in the first year. But in the second year, each characteristics we are implementing in the one particular concept. Here we are discussing first one, class and object. What is a class? Class is a way of grouping objects having similar characteristics. What is that? It's a way of grouping objects having a similar characteristics into a single name, or it is a blueprint of an object. Blueprint of an object. Otherwise, it is a user-defined data structure. User-defined data structure contains a new word you are hearing, data member and member function. Member functions. It is a user-defined data structure. The data structures which is being created by the user is called as user-defined data structure, and it contains data members and member functions. Data members and member functions. Here there are 3 definitions. This is a very important definition. These 2 are important definition. This you can write for Viva as well as even for 1 mark also you can write. You will get the marks. Don't worry. So here the actual definition is a way of grouping a similar characteristics. Objects having a similar characteristics into a single name. And it is a user-defined data structure, contains data members and member functions. Data members and member function. Defining a class. How to define a class? Or general syntax of class. General syntax of class. Class is defined with the keyword class followed by class name, data members and member functions enclosed within the parenthesis. So here we are writing the data members and member functions with the 3 different access specifiers. I'll tell you. Member function. Function means function parenthesis compulsory. Public, same thing, repeat it. Data members and member function. Member functions. Protected. Data members and member functions. Students, listen here. Private. In front of that I have been given colon. Public colon. Protected colon. Colon means in front of that we are defining data members and member function. Here private, public, protected are keywords. Not only that, your class is also a keyword. Class is also a keyword. Class, private, public, protected are the keywords. These are access specifiers. Access specifiers. We'll discuss this one in the next session. Access specifier. Access specifier means how we need to access the data in the program. Permission rights how we need to give will be defined by your access specifiers: private, protected, public and protected. See here, class is a keyword. It is your syntax. Class, class name. Class, class name. Class name is identifier. Class name is identifier. What is identifier? It is a meaningful name given to the programming element. It is a name of the class. We are giving a name to the class. So class CS2, CS3, CS4, CS5, isn't it? So here class, class name. Here we are giving one name. That name should be meaningful name. Hence it is called identifier. Whatever the program you will write, based on the program name, we are giving in the short form for the class. That is to identify the name of the class. Then data members. Different kinds of data members are enclosed within the flower brace and terminated by semicolon. Do you remember in the last year we have written struct, that is our structure, structure name. Members we have enclosed within the flower brace and terminated. Yes, here also it is almost similar to your structure. Here we are creating this structure with the class keyword. And this structure contains both data members and member function. In the last year it contains only data members. Now it contains both data members and member functions. If you declare those data members and member functions as a private only, it's my purpose. I cannot allow anyone to access my data. It's my own private property. Public. The members which is being declared under the public as a data member and member function, that can be accessed by anyone. I am leaving that for anyone to access. There is no restrictions with the public access specifier. Protected, I am giving a password and keeping as a protected, so that no one should not access my own protected data. Similarly, whatever you will use in apply in your day-to-day life, similarly, here we are giving permission rights to access your data members and member functions which is declared inside the class definition, so that we can achieve the concept of the OOPS called data abstraction. We are hiding the internal representation from the external user. If I declare those members with a private and a protected, public cannot be accessed. That means others cannot be accessed. If I declare those members as a public, so that anyone can access the data. Your Gmail account is your private and you kept one password for that is protected. If you upload any of the video under your YouTube channel and if you kept that one as a public, anyone can access. If it is unlisted, that is your protected data. Those who will get the link, only those can access the particular data. Private, that is kept for only for your, just you have been uploaded, that cannot be accessed by anyone. That is your example for that. See here, this will discuss later in the session, that within the as a separate concept. Okay students, class, class name, data members and member functions togetherly called as class members. These two togetherly called as class members. These two class members we have declared under access specifier. What are those access specifier? Private, public and protected. those members enclosed under flower brace and terminated by semicolon. This is called definition of a class, or it is a way of defining the class or general syntax of class. What is class? It's a way of grouping objects having a similar characteristics into a single name. Similar characteristics into a single name. And it is a user-defined data structure, contains data members and member function. This gives you blueprint of an object. Blueprint of an object. Example, class. I am creating a class with a name called student. Student private int student number S number character S name of 20 public colon void input data, that is just I am writing input and output. So these are the member functions. Input and output are the member function. S number and S name are the data members. What is data member? Then what is member function? Data member, the variables which is declared under access specifier within the class. Please repeat along with me. See here, the variables which is declared under access specifier within the class definition are called data member. Viva question. Class is a Viva question. Data member is a Viva question. What are the access specifiers are the Viva question. Did you got it? What is data member? The variables. These are the variables, right? These two variables we have declared under access specifier. We are not telling which access specifier. Any access specifier. The variables which is declared under access specifier within the class definition are called data member. What is a member function? These two are the member function. These two member functions declared under access specifier within the class to perform a particular task. To perform a particular task on the data members. On data members are called member function. What is member function? The member functions which is declared under access specifier within the class definition to perform a particular task. To perform a particular task on data members. On data members. Did you got it? So class followed by class name, data members declared under access specifier. These things are enclosed within the flower brace and terminated by semicolon. Did you got your class and class example? And one more thing here you need to discuss, that is the point object. Object. What is an object? It is a real world entity. Real world entity. Real world entity contains instance of class. Instance of class. What is an object? Object is a real world entity contains instance of class. Declaration of class. We call this one as declaration of the class or general syntax of your object or creation of your object. How to create the object? Object is created with a class name followed by object name. Followed by object name. This is your syntax. What is the syntax of this? Class name followed by object name. Here I have been created one object, right? Sorry, class, right? How I can write? Example I am writing here. Class name. What is a class name? Student is a class name. S is a object. S is the object. Student is a class name. This is an example for your object. Here we are going to get the concept of your OOPS called data encapsulation. Which concept you are achieving here? By creating the object. By creating the object, we are achieving a concept of encapsulation. What is encapsulation? Binding data and function togetherly into a single unit called object. Binding of data and members and the member functions togetherly into a single unit called object, so that data cannot be accessed directly without a member function. Without these member function, I cannot access your S number and S name. If I want to access these two data member, I should invoke with the member function. This member function is invoked with the object name. Without the object reference, I cannot access the member function. Without a member function, I cannot access the data member, so that I can achieve data encapsulation, that is giving a security to your data. So data is more secured in object oriented concept. Advantage. Did you got the students? Understood? Whatever it was there in your board, now that will gives you 5 marks. And I forgot one thing to tell here. This particular chapter contains 1 mark, 1 question, no question from 2 marks, 3 marks, and 1 question from 5 marks. Totally 6 marks weightage. One of the 5 marks important question we are going to study now, along with 1 mark question. What are the 1 mark questions today we discussed? Definition of the class, definition of the object, definition of the data member, definition of the member function, and what are the access specifiers, and syntax are how to declare the class. Please remember, directly they will not give the syntax of object. How to declare a class. We'll ask a question, how to declare the class. See, many questions we have discussed for 1 mark, and whatever we have on the board now, that gives you one of the 5 marks question. You may get different ways of questions here. I have mentioned in the classwork, just follow that. What is class and object? Explain with the syntax and example. What is class? What is object? 2 definitions. How to define the class and how to declare the class. Each one syntax along with the example. What is class and objects? Explain with the syntax and example. That is one way. How to define the class. How to define the class and declare the class. How to define and declare the class. Explain. If it is 5 marks, what is class? What is object? Syntax of the class. Example of the class. Syntax of the object. Syntax of example of the object. Did you got it? And one more. How to create a class and object. Create means syntax, general syntax. Create is also called as syntax. How to create a class and objects. Explain with the syntax and example. These are the different ways possible for asking this particular question. Today, now we discussed what is class. It is a way of grouping objects having a similar characteristics. What is object? Object is a real world entity. It contains instance of class. It contains instance of class. So, you can write these two also. that may or may not be. So any one of the definition is important. Please don't give more priority for this. Give priority for these two definition. It is a user-defined data structure, contains data members and member functions. Syntax, class name, data members and member functions written under access specifier. What are the access specifier? Private, public, protected. These members enclosed within the flower brace and terminated by semicolon. Then example for that, class student. I have declared two data members. One is S number and the one is S name under a private. Public, I have declared input and output as a member function. So member function contains return type, hence I have used void. So this is example for this. And what is the syntax or declaration of the class? Class name, object name. Class name, object name. Class name. What is the class name we have used for the example? Student. Student is a class name. S is a object name. If you write this much, you will get 5 marks for you. Okay, students. So next class will discuss different access specifier, usage and syntax with a example. Thank you, students.